Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it. You already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye, bye. Let's get to that intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that I stay kicking. And I appreciate the support, man. I'm very humbled, right? So, Stockton is in trouble. Hey, you know you guys done messed up, right? You know you done messed up. These shooters, and I say plural because according to the feds who have now stepped in, it is multiple shooters, right? Allegedly, that have done the misdeed of taking children's lives unnecessarily behind gang violence in the city of Stockton. So, what has happened now? What has happened is just like I knew what was going to happen, just like anyone who's lived that street life or been around knows what was going to happen. See, it goes in steps, but this one is not baby steps. When babies are murdered, it's leaps and bounds, right? The feds have now stepped in. There is now federal agencies in the city of Stockton, and best believe they're using numerous resources to identify the suspects in this case. Okay, it has been put out there by the federal government that they have now stepped in to the Stockton investigation, and they are relentless in pursuing the suspects. They have already put out there that they are well knowing that it is multiple suspects that did this crime. They know it was gang related. I'm sure they know a lot more that they're not putting out there because they don't want the situation of the investigation to be tainted, right? They don't want the integrity of the investigation to be stepped on or walked over. This right here, when you kill children in a mass shooting, you gain national attention and everybody knows what's up. But they're leaking a few details out there that I thought I would update you guys on. Those of you that are not following up on the story through big, large media and just through social media, I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. Excuse me. I've been working early this morning. So, with the feds stepping in, that means all forensic evidence, all shell casings, all anything DNA is all going to be utilized at the highest level. See, when you have local authorities doing investigations, it's kind of word of mouth. They do what they have to do, but they might overlook something, especially in smaller towns like Stockton, even where I'm from, Merced. Different cities in the Central Valley are not as advanced as a bigger city, say like Oakland or Frisco or San Jose or even Los Angeles and San Diego, right? I say San Diego. I don't know. I know it's LA, but I take it way back. You know, when the feds jump in, that means someone's going down. It's only a matter of time. If you guys recall when the Goshen massacre happened, the incident in Tulare County, where a 16-year-old and her infant baby were killed, as well as other family members, and it was done by two alleged at that time active Norteño gang members. That gained a lot of national attention. I remember in the beginning, they were trying to point fingers at cartels because it was execution style killings. And of course, they started to point fingers at the cartel. But slowly but surely, as soon as the Fed stepped in, the truth started to unravel. And it was only a matter of time before the suspects were apprehended. Houses were raided. One suspect tried to put up a fight, was shot in the investigate during the situation. And that's just how that went. These guys in Stockton will not get away with this. Not at all. When you kill children, there's an outcry in the community. There's people, community leaders and activists that are actually coming together and holding conferences and stepping up to the podium and saying enough is enough. And they're trying to fight back in the city of Stockton. Now, Stockton has always had gang members, and it probably always will have gang members, because at the end of the day, man, the gang members mentality is this: we control the city. This is our town, and we're going to do how we see fit until the feds come in. See, if you have any smarts about yourself, if you have any type of street smarts, then you understand when feds are in the business, when they are involved, somebody is going down, and not just one person, but several people are going down for a very, very large amount of time. Okay? Because weapons were used, I don't know if they're going to handle it on the state level and send these suspects when they are arrested and charge them with the state, or I don't know if it was automatic guns used or ghost guns. Depending upon the shells and what they got the evidence, they're going to easily recognize the caliber of the gun, if it had a switch on it, what it was, and depending upon that, they can be charged federally. Okay, go to the feds. Now, at the end of the day, that comes later. Their focus of their investigation, I'm sure right now, is on apprehending these suspects and hoping that these suspects don't flee the area. Now, if I was involved in a situation like that, I'd be beside myself because I know the whole world is waiting and hoping that I'd get caught. And it's kind of hard to wiggle. Eventually someone's going to fuck up. They're going to tell their old lady something, or their old lady already knows, or her friends or their friends. And eventually you get caught. Usually when you're on the run or you do a crime, everybody, even your own homies that you think are trying to hide you out, are turning you in. There's now a $25,000 reward. There's tip hotlines. There's a lot going on. So like I said, man, the net is already cast by the feds and is starting to slowly close. But there's been some more information leaked, right? And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out, man. Without putting too much people on blast, I'm not going to say who did what, but I mean, it's pretty obvious. During the course of the investigation, we've seen several bullet holes in the front, and it's been known, according to eyewitnesses, testimony from people that were actually shot and people that were there at the birthday party, that, and they're not saying too much, right? There's a lot of people that ain't saying shit. They're sticking to the street code. There was a lot of street code individuals there, and there's a lot of people that I'm sure just don't want retaliation for telling or snitching. It is what it is. When it comes to children being killed, man, you got to step up. You got to step up in remembrance of them children. You got to step up and put it out there, unless these individuals are trying to retaliate themselves and handle their business internally. It is what it is, man. All bets are off when it comes to children. To me, that's personally. But I understand living that gang life when you're an active gang member, you got to go by the street code. There's certain rules and regulations unspoken that you must abide by. Cool. So there's a lot of people that ain't saying anything. But during the course of this investigation, it has been revealed that one or more shooters came into the party and let loose in the party, then ran to the front of the building to let off, right? Several people at the party were hit, and we already know 4 victims died, right? But there was much more than just those 4 victims. And I'm going to elaborate in another video about the other victims that were involved, because the sole focus is going towards the children that were killed, but there was also more children that were shot. Okay. And they're not getting their flowers. They're not getting their, spoken on. They're not getting, imagine a kid being shot. It's even hard. All right, if a kid gets shot and is dead, that's unfortunate. That's tragic. That sucks. There's, so many negative things I could say about the killers who done that. But when you have a kid that's young, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, and was shot at a very vulnerable age, when they're just trying to figure out who they are. They don't even know right from wrong quite yet, right? And they're shot, man. That's a big thing to overcome. Sometimes, it could be your leg. It could have ruined their chances at, a career in sports or a modeling career, or scars that, it could ruin a child's life and definitely ruin the parent's life. There's a lot of people affected. It's just not the community that's tired of the bullshit. It's just not us on social media that are talking about it and watching it. But you have to think really deep down inside, man. All the people that were shot in this incident could have post-traumatic. They could be reliving and rethinking every aspect of what happened. And it was a very scary situation. Being shot myself in the head and being shot in the foot, I understand what it feels like, to be vulnerable and to not be able to clap back at that particular time and just to take that bullet. So I can only imagine what went through the mind of children when they're falling and yelling and pushing and cussing and running inside closets. It's just very, I'm anguished to think about that, right? And to think what they have to go through now to overcome the barriers of the mind, man, because the mental controls a lot, right? And mentally, I'm sure they're drained, and mentally, I'm sure they're scared to death. And that sucks that there's dudes running around right now, or whoever running around right now laughing about the fact that they killed some people and some children. They better be scared, because the feds are coming. Now, during the course of this investigation, what I wanted to update you on, which to me, when I heard it, I was like, stupid asses, but I understand, right? There were several guns found on the roof of the building where they were having the birthday party. Now, there's been people speculating maybe the shooters were on the roof. And this is, look, at shooters are not going to leave guns behind. Okay. They're not going to leave the gun on the scene. They're going to get off where they're mad at. Now, of course, shells will fall. They can't pick every one of those up because things are going fast, but they're definitely not going to leave guns. They might drop a gun. I could tell you about an incident a long time ago. My homeboy fucking dropped the gun. I had to go up in the window and grab something. Not saying it was used. I'm just saying it dropped, right? But I doubt it has anything to do with the shooters at this point. And this is no speculation. This is just my perspective, right? I guess that is speculation, whatever. It leads me to believe this. I like to think before I say something, especially when it's concerning a crime against kids, right? You have to think that the individuals that were in this party, okay, not everybody's innocent. We know now these individuals in this party, several of them were targeted by this other group. I don't know if it was for rap music. I don't know if it was for what they said. I don't know if it was for being the opposition, a gang member. But whatever the case may be, these people in this party, not all of them were innocent. A lot of them lived that street life. A lot of them were involved at a different level. And there's even been some speculation to put out there, man, that some of them had that coming. Whatever. I don't care if they had it coming. They didn't have it coming at a 2-year-old's birthday party. That I'll say, right? Definitely not. But again, you have to look at it from both sides of the coin. They should have never went to a child's birthday party or even had the birthday party if they knew the city of Stockton was going to be on fire like this. And anyone that knows Stockton knows they're going to get off where they're mad at. Every time, all the time. It's been happening since the beginning of time. That's just how Stockton is. That's the reputation they uphold. They are a little reckless when it comes to getting off. They don't give a fuck. They'll do it at any place and any time. And unfortunately, this time they decided to overstep and do it at a 2-year-old's birthday function. And now they're going to get functioned on by the feds, the gang task force, and everyone else, man. And this is going to bring the city of Stockton crashing down upon them because nobody, and I mean nobody, I've seen several content creators from LA all the way to the Bay, and no one is condoning what they did. I've seen several assholes in my DMs, little young bucks, I could tell, because they put LOL at the end of everything with a fucking laughing face, laughing and saying they're glad that this happened. But you know what? You could talk that talk, man, but when you go back to prison or you go in behind them walls, let's see you walk that walk. You're not going to. You won't last 24 hours on a general population mainline with charges that involve children. I guarantee it. Anyways, they found these guns on top of this roof, right? This facility where they were having this birthday party. And it leads me to believe this, right? And this is just speculation. I don't believe the shooters were on the roof. If that was the case, they could have dropped down like commando and got off, right? I don't think that's what it was. I think individuals that were at that party were strapped up probably. They probably had some things on them. And when this happened, immediately after this happened, here, homie, take those, go put them up, stash them, hide them, because fuck, bro. They didn't have enough time to run out and jump in a car and take them or whatever. That's just speculation, man. But there were several weapons, I believe 3 or 4 weapons found on top of the roof of this building. So, people are trying to say, oh, the shooters were up top on the roof. I don't think they would do that. I don't know how they would get up there. But I'm sure you can get up to the roof from inside the facility, right? So it had to be someone that was in there. Whatever, man. The feds are involved now. So that means every nook and cranny, every piece of evidence will be gathered, and it's only a matter of time. I guarantee you this ain't going to be like the Tupac murder. They're going to get somebody. They're going to get somebody fast. See, Stockton is too small of a town for motherfuckers to keep a secret. If you look at the DMs inside videos like this one, or, and I sometimes I see when people say a little too much, and I'll erase that comment because there's no reason for anyone to be snitching, on my channel. Look, shit falls. We don't like it over here, right? There's no reason for people to be throwing names out there of the shooters or anything until it is concrete and put out there, because I don't want you to take the investigation. And even more so, man, we're not trying to do law enforcement's job. They're there. They're doing their thing. We're just trying to console the people of Stockton and tell it like it is, okay? The fact is, this is due to gang violence. It's been put out there, and it sucks. Now, which gang did it? It doesn't matter at this point. They will get caught. I promise you that. There's no way that these federal agents, local law enforcement, gang task force, and all that are not going relentless and hard because the community is crying out. Now, several community leaders have come together and they're trying to stand their ground. They're trying to, implore the people to help, to watch out, to come together as a community. One thing I'll say is this: it's hard for a community to do that that's been overran by gangs for so long. Okay. It's kind of like these rules and regulations are put in place, and there's a lot of people that try to avoid the conflict because they're scared for their family. People can't just get up and move. Some of these people, like I said in another video, it's generational in Stockton, right? Meaning that their homes were passed down from great grandparents to grandparents. Because, like I said, not everybody just gets up and says, "Oh, I'm going to move to Stockton." There's not a lot of jobs in that area. Most people in that area commute to the Bay Area. It's always been like that. See, the 209 Central Valley, there ain't shit there. I know because I grew up there. Modesto, Merced, Turlock, all the way to fucking Stockton, right? There ain't too much going on. So most people, either you have a good highlight, like I said, even that's generational. Your father has a job and he plugs you in, right? Or you commute to the Bay Area, get with the union and do what you do. Stockton's the same exact way. So a lot of these people there, they're too busy working and trying to take care of their family, man. And they know that gangs are in certain areas and they're thick and they're doing their thing and they try to avoid it. So it's going to be hard pressed to make a whole bunch of people that are just scared, man, that are just trying to live, come together to fight the oppression of gang violence. But it's possible. Something like this is an eye-awakening experience. When you see children being gunned down unnecessarily, frivolously, and for nothing in your community, you have to step up as a community leader and grasp that podium and hold it down. And that's what they're doing. Okay. And I've seen people try to make this a racial issue. It was black on brown, brown on black, green on white. Look, doesn't matter what color a person is. It doesn't matter what flag is hanging out of their left or right pocket. It doesn't matter. All that matters is the mentality of this new generation that are kill or be killed. They're killing everything moving and they don't care. When they're calling themselves demons, they're bringing demon energy. Okay. Well, guess what energy they also brought? They spoke it into existence. They brought Fed energy. So now that the federal government is involved, now that the feds, right, the FBI is out there, let me tell you, it's only a matter of time that Dragnet is really closing in. I say within this week coming up, man, we're going to have suspects, pictures of them. Everyone's going to know exactly what happened because there's people from neighborhoods right now that are already plotting on their own homeboy. Oh, 25K. Believe me, 25K in the city of Stockton is a lot of money, right? Oh, shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it, man. You done killed some kids. You a piece of shit anyways. Because you gotta think, man, even these young gang members, and I'm not saying it was youngsters that did it, could have been anyone, right? We'll find out. But the mentality is stupid, which only come when I think about it, it's like it makes sense. That's someone from the younger generation, because this is kind of their MO, right? So you got to think that they have older homeboys, they have chicks, and Stockton's big, man. Everyone's related to everyone, kind of just like every city, like Fresno, Merced, Modesto. Everyone's related to everybody, right? And so you might have think, hey, man, that's the opposition, man. We were going after this guy, but hit a kid over here that's related to one of your homeboys in your same group, right? That he didn't even know was going to be there. They might feel some type of way. He might tell his old lady, damn, man, the homie did that. His old lady's like, what? That's my niece. And boop, de boop, boop, boop. There you go. Federal governments are going to come knocking at your door. I give it a week before the suspects are apprehended. And look, I'm not even going to lie to you. If I knew their names right now, I would not point fingers in their direction to law enforcement, but I would definitely let you know that I don't condone what they did, that they're pieces of shit, that they will get caught. See, you don't need people to tell in this instance, people that don't really know the situation like myself and you. There's going to be plenty of people that are going to come knocking on the Fed's door, and then the Feds can go knocking on their door. I promise you this, right? They are not going to get away with killing these children. But still, where's the justice? People always like, I want justice. I want this person to be locked up forever. I want this person to go through a trial. It's going to cost the city of Stockton tremendous amounts of money. Like, this is not a win-win situation at all. They're going to lose. The children lost. The parents lost. The community lost. Like, everyone lost, all because of some dumb, stupid motherfuckers, right, that don't know how to take some criticism, don't know how to understand that their block ain't no better than that block. It was built by the same fucking paisa. He built that block. The same fucking paisas that built your house, built their house, homie. There's no difference. You got up this morning, you ate the same tortillas or the same fucking rice patties, whatever you ate, right? You guys ate the same shit. And then you go out and you kill each other because they not like us. They not like us. Nah, baboso, they are just like you. It's just you don't have the understanding or the education or been through some shit to understand, bro, that it's your own people you're killing. I guarantee when the suspects are caught and their pictures, and I'm going to do videos, we are going to do videos, all content creators. When their pictures are plastered against a thumbnail, you're going to see that they look exactly like the people they shot. Only difference is they're not babies. They're assholes, and they're going to get caught up for that. So the feds have stepped in. Like I said, they've released a few tidbits of information. One, that there was guns found on top of the roof of the place where the birthday party was held. And also the fact that they know it's gang related, obviously, and that they believe it's several shooters, not just one. We'll see, man. I'll keep you guys updated. Thank you guys for all the support. I've been appreciating it. And we're going to, and look, for all my Raider fans, it's still Raider. But you can't tell me this motherfucking fit ain't gone. We're going, right? Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle for what I truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people. If you're new to my channel, I also have another channel called The Collective Clips. I would appreciate if you go over there, like and subscribe, because I got some banging videos. A lot of comedy over there. Things I'm sure you'll enjoy. True crime as well as profiles. Thank you, guys. This video is sponsored by Vario Liquors out there in Turlock, California. If you're ever in the area, pull up to the Vario, man. Go get you some cool and refreshing to drink. Thank you, man. Shout out to Vario Liquors and to everyone out there. Bang, bang.